Hello guys, welcome back to another video. And today's video, I'm going to be building a Death Battle season with only video game characters. Basically meaning both matchups and both characters have to be from a video game. So, no comics or movie type characters at all. This is strictly just 2 video game characters only. So anyway, hope you enjoy the video, and I will see you at the end. Also, before I start, I'm going to give an honorable mention to these two being Raiden versus Prophet from Cyrus. And, obviously we have Viper versus Toby. Toby from Battleborn and Viper from Titanfall 2. I would include these, but I used these in the last video I did, and I don't want to have all repeating matchups. So I just kind of thought these two could be an honorable mention for this video. So now, let's actually get into the actual list. Starting off the list, we have Bendy from Cuphead. I am surprised we have not had this happen yet. This is such a fucking awesome idea. And especially coming from the DBX they did, looks absolutely amazing. And for an actual episode, I could imagine the budget's going to be a lot bigger, and they could do a lot more cool shit with this fight. These two characters have a lot of shit they could throw at each other, and sadly, it is a stomping Cuphead's favor, since from what I know, Cuphead gets to casually planetary with, relatively no ease. What should outskill a lot of Bendy's things he could throw. But, overall, this is just a really fun and cool idea. And not to mention, the music would absolutely slap. Both of these two franchises have absolutely amazing music and art styles that I feel like could blend very well into a fantastic episode if done correctly. Now, coming in next, we have a request for this episode. We're going to get to a lot of those later on. He suggested a Fire Emblem Battle Royale. Now, I don't know if he meant, the protagonists or whatever, or the villains, or, all of them. But I'm assuming he's talking about this idea right here. Now, this would be kind of cool since it's been fucking ages since we had a Battle Royale, so this would be kind of a cool new thing they could bring back, which I hope we get more Battle Royales in the future. That is something I feel like they're kind of lacking right now. And also, who can complain about bringing back Fire Emblem for another matchup? I don't think anyone can really complain about that. And also, we get to see all these cool characters from the different Fire Emblem franchise come together and fight each other. Just like the Mega Man Battle Royale, which I think is pretty good. And again, the music here would slap. You could easily do this in Sprite, since it would look much better than Sprite in 3D, in my opinion. But overall, this is just kind of a fun, unique idea they could do. And again, been a while since we had a Battle Royale, so this would be a perfect opportunity to bring it back. Up next, we have Insomniac Miles versus Dosen. This, in my opinion, is a lot better than just Comic Miles, since that's low-key just kind of boring. This has a lot of more subtext to it, both of them also console, PlayStation exclusives and all that. And I low-key feel like it's a lot more debatable if you do it the game wise. Same thing applies. I still think it's kind of a cool fight. Dosen has a lot of cool abilities. So does Miles. I feel like their interaction would be really cool to see. But if you're sitting here and wondering, but didn't you just say it's only video game characters? If you're going to say, oh, well, this doesn't count since it's technically a Marvel character, I guess Dosen Rowe versus, James Hellerworks. It's just, in my opinion, low-key, it's Alex's Cole 2.0, which is kind of boring. So this is why I kind of prefer Insomniac Miles, if you are going to count that. But if not, James Heller works fine. Dosen Rowe doesn't really have any other video games matchups. What? He has Starkiller, I guess, is For video games only, he does not have a whole lot to my knowledge. It's either Insomniac Miles, James Heller, or Starkiller. But that's just what I think. And up next, we have another request, that being Mario versus Astro Ball. Now, I could definitely see why someone would want this, coming from both our extremely popular platformer type games. And low-key, if you really think about it, low-key kind of vibes. Granted, the only thing that kind of does not work is banner-wise, since Astro Ball really doesn't speak. Well, I mean, he does speak, you just can't understand what he's saying. But like both of these two have a lot of cool abilities. They could, if you're going to include like Astrobots, different skins you could use and different abilities, I think you could use on it. It's been a hot minute since I've touched Astrobot, since I had the free one on the PS5 when I got it. But from what I remember, it is a good game. I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about how good Astrobot is when it's a fucking death battle match, but low key, this kind of vibes. And also, Astrobot has some cool shit. You could have this take place in the battle since both of them have flying type abilities. Being, I forgot the name of the star, and also he has the PlayStation plane. I don't know the name of the plane. I'm just gonna call it that because it's fucking hilarious. But overall, this is a really cool idea. Sprites obviously works best. Hell, even hand drawn would work cool. And again, both of their abilities I think would bounce off each other really fucking nice. And also, it's a rivalry between Nintendo and fucking PlayStation. That would also be a really cool thing to see. And next up, we have Jack from Bioshock versus Morgan Yu from Prey. This fight, in my opinion, is easily in my top 10 most wanted of all time. I doubt it's ever going to happen since, people in the Death Battle community don't really explore unknown franchises. Like, I didn't even know what Prey was until, 2 years ago while I saw a clip of, underrated games to play. And Bioshock is one of my favorite video games of all time. I love the characters. I love the atmosphere of the games of both Prey and Bioshock, both phenomenal atmosphere games. So you could low-key have some horror aspects. You could both have them being attacked by a certain type of monsters throughout the fight. Both of them have a lot of cool abilities you could use. Both of them actually have a lot of cool weaponry, like Morgan Yu's glue gun that could be used to stop Morgan Yu's attacks. I forget what it's called. It's the fire ability where he snaps with his hand, so you could shoot his hand and stop it. And also he has his shape-shifting abilities he could use. He has his shape-shifting again. I don't know what the fuck I was saying again. He has I think it's energy plasma attacks. He shoots out plasma ball. I forgot the ability. It's been a hot minute since I touched Prey, but Prey was so fucking good. And again, the atmosphere would be really cool. The abilities they can throw at each other are very, very cool. Morgan Yu has some nice weaponry, like a recycle grenade. But the only problem is that Morgan Yu absolutely violates in this fight. He absolutely stat stomps and has way better hacks and abilities on his side. Jack's only way of winning is when Morgan Yu throws a recycle grenade is to use telekinesis and throw it back. But granted, Morgan Yu should be a lot faster, so it shouldn't really be a big problem at the end. But again, I just love this fight. I love the characters. I love both of the games really, really much. Both of these games mean a lot to me. But yeah, this is just a fight I just really want to happen one day. And up next, we have the King of Fighters Nest Bosses Battle Royale. I think this is what the requester wanted. I have not touched King of Fighters at all, but I'm assuming from what I know about the game and what I googled, this is what I was able to find. These 4 bosses. I think this would be low-key kind of cool since, again, it's a battle royale, which we haven't had in fucking years. And also the fact is, it's more King of Fighters rep, which in my opinion is also a huge W. And also I kind of feel like their interaction and their banner could be kind of cool, and also seeing how their abilities and fighting styles will bounce off each other. So other than that, I think this is overall a pretty solid idea for an episode. And next up, we have Hockeyman from BlazBlue versus Holy Order Sol from Guilty Gear. Now, this is a matchup one of my friends made. And low-key, I think it kind of vibes. You low-key kind of have a past versus a future guy. Since Holy Sol, is what I'm going to call him for this clip, is a past version of Sol who joined... Sorry, I had to Google it really quick. He enlisted in the Scared Order of Holy Knights. And Hockeyman is known as a future version of a character from BlazBlue by the name of that being Jin, which I think is kind of cool since you low-key get a past character versus a future character, which low-key kind of vibes. And knowing that both BlazBlue and Guilty Gear have some banger music, this soundtrack would go absolutely fucking batshit insane. Not to mention, it's also pretty fucking debatable coming from both Guilty Gear and BlazBlue kind of have roughly similar scaling to a degree of some characters. Which low-key could make this fight very interesting since both characters have some pretty fucking cool fucking abilities, which could bounce off each other really fucking cool. But anyway, I'm gonna let my friend finish the connections for this fight, and I'll make a community post about the fight later, and so y'all can see all the connections and all the similarities these two have in common. Since I did a pretty fucking piss poor job giving you all the explanations, but I don't have time for that. I gotta get to the rest of the ideas right now. Now up next we have Rosie from the Walking Dead Telltale games versus Riley from Call of Duty Ghost. This fight is low-key kind of simplistic and basic. I don't really have all the connections again. This came from a friend of mine. But low-key, it's kind of unique. It's kind of a fun, simplistic idea they can do. Both are loyal companions to their owners. It's low-key just kind of an okay idea. I don't really have all the connections, so that's why I can't really go full-on in-depth with this one. And up next, we have Eddie from Guilty Gear versus, I think it's Relius Clover from BlazBlue, aka Battle of the Borderline Puppet Masters of their franchises. This low-key would kind of go hard since both of them are borderline, kind of have the same mindset when they go into a fight. Both are extremely dangerous and very good at their job. It's low-key kind of a really unique and cool matchup since both characters are really calculating during their fights. While they both have different emotions, while Clover, on the other hand, is kind of emotionless when he fights, when he's strategizing. Eddie's kind of on the opposite. He kind of shows more emotion when he's fighting, but he's still really good at calculating his opponents and what they're going to do. While also their puppets are kind of actually a lot different, while Eddie's Shadows is more based in the supernatural type realm. Clover is actually using his wife as a literal puppet. So overall, this fight, Loki has a lot of substance you can use that could make a phenomenal written episode. Not to mention, again, the music would actually go really fucking hard. Also, like, again, we need more BlazBlue and Guilty Gear matchup on Death Battle, so this would be another massive W if they were to ever do it. And also, before I sign off, fuck Eddie versus Venom, that matchup was never fucking good. Now, into our last three, we have Tristina from fucking League of Legends versus Wrecking Ball from Overwatch. Again, another request, so I don't really have a lot to say on it. But, sorry, I'm really tired. I just got off work. But anyway, it's kind of a cool matchup. I could low-key see this having a little bit of potential. Not to mention it brings back League of Legends and Overwatch for another episode. That's a pretty massive W in my book since we're getting more representations of franchises that should have more episodes. But in reality, they don't. But that's really about all I can say. I low-key think it's solid and could make for a unique episode. Next up, we have Miles versus Ellis Lynch. Outlast versus the Blair Witch Project. Now, on the surface, it doesn't really seem like much. Both are horror protagonists of games with handheld cameras who get pushed into a dangerous environment that brings them to the brink of madness. Being for Miles the Asylum and Ellis for the Force of the Blair Witch Project, that basically brings them both to madness. And a lot of PTSD plays a factor in their games. Also, the fact is that they both fucking die in their games. And yes, I know the Blair Witch has multiple endings, but all endings have them die, so... You know, also, the only issue you could have is that, like, both characters don't pull off hardly any feats that are noteworthy. Like, Miles' like, best strength feat is, like, pushing a shelf or something like that, since most of the enemies in this game are a one-shot kill, just like in the Blair Witch Project. But yeah, low-key, it's a subtle and simple matchup that I low-key kind of vibe with. But yeah, that's just what I think about one of the matchups I made. Last but finally, we have Scorpion from Mortal Kombat versus Talon from Shadow of Mordor, aka Lord of the Rings. Not only are these two both legendary warriors within their respective verses who had their families and clan slaughtered in front of their eyes, and they sought vengeance throughout supernatural ways, since both these are supernatural-like entities, to seek vengeance for the people that killed their family, and in the end they got their vengeance for their family, being able to kill Quan Chi and beat Sauron. Not only does this work that way as a character in a story-themed way, it also works in an actual fight since both of these two have their both immortality. They both have their ways of teleportation. They both have swords they could fight with. They also have something they could shoot at each other, being spears and arrows. This low-key works in a lot of ways that I'm surprised a lot of people have not talked about, since when you hear Scorpion matchups, you usually hear like the basic shit like Wolf from Shadows Die Twice, which is really boring. This low-key works in a lot of different ways, and it's also kind of debatable, which is a huge fucking plus. So not only, again, it works as a story, as a character comparison, and it actually works as a fight, since both of their abilities have a lot of stuff they can do. Again, teleportation, immortality, they both have similar weaponry to a degree. And it would low-key just be kind of fucking cool to see how you could have a moment where, like, they'd realize that they're not that far apart, that they low-key have the same goals, to seek vengeance for their families. And it would just be a kind of a cool dialogue fight. But yeah, that's it. This wraps up the whole episode. And that's the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you for watching until the very end. I will probably be back with trailers tomorrow for my birthday. So anyway, I'll see you then. Take care. Love you all so much for watching. You mean the fucking world to me.